702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Good morning, 7 minutes past 9. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. Tshidi Madia in for Clement. I'll be with you until 12 o'clock. I hope your Wednesday is beautiful. I think it's a little bit nippier than usual. It's definitely feeling more overcast. I heard that it'll be colder next week. And I think something about snow. I'm a little bit excited about the snow. Not necessarily the frostbite setting in, but I hope you are having a fantastic start to the day. We've got lots in store for you today. I'm also looking to hear from you. Are you watching our Parliament? I want your thoughts on Parliament. Talk about clickbait galore, right? So sometimes when I watch, I worry because you have a lot of clips that are being released in the public domain from our Parliament. I think some of them might be completely out of context, sure, but I think they pique people's interest. They definitely pique mine in terms of what's happening in those portfolio committees. So you see Papa Penny trending, you see Liam Jacobs from the DA trending, you see Ashley Souls also trending. And I ask myself, what do MPs actually understand about what their role is meant to be? I'm fascinated by the 7th Parliament because there is no outright majority. So everything that's contested could go either way, depending on which parties find one another. So I'm watching the MPs. What is your sense of how they're faring, their performance in the portfolio committees? 011-883-0702, 072-702-1702. Those are the numbers to call in or to send voice notes or WhatsApps to speak about that specific topic or even more.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
It is becoming like clockwork when you think about it, isn't it? The happenings in our Parliament, the incidents, the clashes in those committees are now regularly finding their way into our banter, discussions, and even jokes. But really, I think we ought to ask whether or not our members of Parliament understand their actual job. What is the task? So your party is elected. You are now the representative in the National Assembly in Parliament. What is the job that you are tasked with? What is your role when you keep saying, oh, we are lawmakers? Do you understand what it means? I'd even argue, for instance, the Higher Education Committee. For a second there, I thought, oh, impressive. But I'm now looking at it differently, and it didn't take me long to get there. I'm now starting to think it's a circus. One day, you had the minister and her antics. Then you had the universities appearing on their performance, right? Becoming a debate about personal pride. I don't know if anybody ever saw that, but Ashley Souls, who's a PA, Patriotic Alliance MP, started grilling Enimos Manyawi, who is a Zimbabwean-born CFO of the Tsefako Makgato Health Sciences University. That, which was meant to be about the performance of the university, became about personal pride, South African citizenship versus loyalty to Zimbabwe. Take a listen to how that unfolded.
A resident and citizen of South Africa for close more than 20 years now. My children were born in South Africa, and I'm a South African. Thank you.
Okay, let's change the subject matter then. Someone born, not yourself. You're changing the subject matter. Someone born in Zimbabwe, other than yourself. Is it correct for him or her to feel that the Zimbabwean government must prioritize them, not you, them, for jobs in their country?
It depends on their circumstances. If they have grown up, worked the entire life of themselves, whether they were born in the DRC and they worked the entire life in Zimbabwe, or their children were born there.
CFO, now you're changing the subject matter. That's wrong. What you're doing now is wrong. I indulged you. I changed the subject matter upon your request. Now let's talk about, based on the question. Please answer the question. Is it correct for not you, a Zimbabwean that is in Zimbabwe now, is it correct for that Zimbabwean to expect the government of Zimbabwe to prioritize jobs for them?
Yes. Correct. It's correct. It's correct for the Zimbabwean government to prioritize jobs for Zimbabweans. It's correct.
So it becomes a back and forth about, as I said, South African pride and loyalty versus Zimbabwe, because the CFO was born in Zimbabwe. So they go back and forth. Mind you, that engagement was about the performance of the institution of higher learning. It was about the Sefako Makgatho Health Sciences University and its financial performance. And then you then also had Liam Jacobs. I think Liam Jacobs is relatively young. He's very young. And I think he's also brought in a conversation about skills that are required. How much experience do you need before being put on a national stage where you're meant to represent your party in the way that he is? He got slammed for this particular engagement around board members and the issue of board fees. Please take a listen.
And then I want to ask, how much does it actually cost you to bring all these people here for this meeting that is now being basically rescheduled so that we can have the minister to account?
So in terms of council members, the total cost was 36,000, approximately 36,000. And the rest was 48,000, and that excludes the meeting fees.
The meeting fees. Wait, are they being paid to come to this meeting?
It's dependent on the number of hours. Yes.
Are they being paid as we speak?
Council members should be paid for attending any meeting that's related to NEC.
Okay, so it is now 12 o'clock, Chairperson, on the dot. We started this meeting at 9:30. If we proceed to 29 minutes to 1, they will get, if I've got my maths correct, a 4th hour. And how much do they get paid?
I'll tell you now, it's dependent on the number of hours.
Per hour.
Just allow me 1 second.
Per hour.
And just for clarity, that means when they come back, they also get paid.
Yeah.
So you get paid for coming here and not accounting. But proceed.
Chair, I just wanted to give you the hourly rate. It's about 307 rand.
307 per hour, per each.
Okay.
Right? So that is times 10. Right? That is 3,070 rand altogether per hour. Meaning if we drag this on, that's an additional 12,000 that's going to be added on if this goes to 1231, Chairperson.
No.
So that was Liam Jacobs in one of those portfolio committee meetings. I mean, here's a person who is very young and understands the importance of social media. I think he's all over TikTok, and the complaints around him and not understanding even a board fee and understanding how boards work are part of what got him lambasted by social media. I mean, some of those who have appeared before the sports committee have complained that he's chasing social media clicks as opposed to focusing on the job. What is your view on performance and understanding what their responsibility is when they're there, that they represent you and I? It's not about them. That the questions that they're asking isn't about trying to profile themselves, but it's about the actual work. Do you get a sense that that's what the MPs are going through? I've got very different views, mind you. I want to bring in a Papa Penny clip. I have very different views, and there for me, I criticize his political party more than I do him. Take a listen to what happened with Papa Penny, how it went sideways, and I'll explain to you just after listening why I think there he was failed by his party and not him necessarily.
Thank you, Chair. I want to say something. I'm an African. Culture, social cohesion, respecting the elder and the young one. We are not here to harm anybody. We are not here to finish SAFA today. We are here to make SAFA to be more powerful. We are here, we are all brother and sister. We are here to fix it, not to damage it. When the car starts, we have to fix it. We have to understand. Because why you here is because government, we have hands in SAFA. That is why if it was a private, you are not supposed to be here. But here, We get a problem, we sit down like this and then we fix it. I want to understand Mr. Hluyo. Who's Mr. Hluyo? About all right.
Honorable Kobani, go through the chairperson.
Okay, Chair. Mr. Hluyo, it's you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Aye, Manaweta. Okay. I have a question here that Mr. Hluyo, are you out on bail on fraud and mismanagement case involving SAFA Fund to CEO and new NEC? Why did the NEC fail to charge the CFO for his fraud and management of fund case? This practice raises issues of constitution as Ms. Namka Mpele and others employed have been charged and fired based on allegation and breach of corporate government principles. What nationalities do you possess? What are the other rules on responsibility you possess in the association based being in the CFO? So you are not charged, accounted? Is what I wanted to ask. Is it true, Chair? That's my question.
This response, CFO.
So that was Papa Penny, also in one of those committees. My issue there isn't even about Papa Penny, because people have gone back and forth. People have laughed at Papa Penny. Papa Penny is a competent politician and has been around for a really long time, served mostly in local government. If you look at his history, has participated in politics for a really long time. I think the failure by those who support him, parliamentarians have, researchers have, people behind them, is asking him to communicate and engage in English. Papa Penny as an individual is known for saying he speaks English the way English people speak his language. You speak his language. So it'll be broken anyway. Then he's asked to then make an argument in a language that's not his, while he's a proper, solid Tsonga speaking individual. And I think the failure was that, because then he gets lost in the Sekgowa, and then it becomes a joke and a gimmick. But actually, there's work to be done and there's something to interrogate, and it could have been articulated far better in his language. And I feel like that's where the loss is. There are research teams that are meant to help and prop these people. There's training that also happens to help them understand what the role requires. So they get lost in all of that. So that's my thing around Papa Penny. I know that Prince Marshall has said some very unsavory things about Papa Penny. I don't agree. I'm seeing somebody on the WhatsApp saying, what is Papa Penny saying? And that's my point. With the role that he has, the responsibilities, there should have been thought that actually in this country with so many official languages, he can articulate himself in the language that he wants to. What are your thoughts? 011-883-0702, 072-702-1702 for WhatsApps and voice notes. Kokeso, who's out in the East Rand, my favorite place in the world. Kokeso, good morning.
Yes, morning. Yes, I agree with you about the Papa Penny situation, right? And I think it also brings to the fore the language of communication in Parliament, which obviously has been predominantly English, And I think we all know that English is not a measure of anyone's intelligence.
Nope.
A person can communicate well in their vernacular language. So I think where Parliament actually failed them was that they should have allowed him to communicate in Tsonga and then made sure that there's a translator there for him. To enable that communication. So I think, the reality that our parliament, it is very colonized, it's a colonized thing.
Yes.
And this is bringing forward, the discussion about decolonizing it, where multiple languages are spoken, and it's just not English as the dominant business language of the day. I think we really need to look at that, because even now people are laughing at him for the fact that he can't speak English.
Imagine. You don't sit and think about what point he was trying to make. Absolutely, Kokeso.
Yes, it's not.
Thank you so much. That's Kokeso out in the East Rand. Like, you're not focusing on the message he's trying to deliver. You're concentrating on the English. In fact, if you think back to last Just last year, 2024, there were complaints about translators in Parliament. In fact, I think the MK missed an opportunity to make a point using Papa Penny around the shortage of translators that speak to other languages that extend beyond dealing with English and maybe Afrikaans. That here's an actual issue. Do we have sufficient translators in Parliament? And I don't think we do. The MK could have used this as a brilliant opportunity to raise that issue instead of forcing their own and humiliating him and leading us to this ridiculous conversation about language in a country with more than 11 official languages. I don't get that. Here's some of your voice notes on the topic.
Morning, Tshidi. No, I see. It seems as if we people would like to complain. Those guys that are doing a fantastic job. Actually, we are seeing what is happening with the committees. Yes, they may not know maybe the experience, it's lacking there and there, but they're doing a fantastic job, according to me. Because even if this thing of foreigners, in South Africa, it's funny. When you complain about this foreign thing, foreign people, and then people call you xenophobia and all, and we know PA is always say, they don't want foreigners to work in South Africa because they're taking our job. So they're doing a great job.
Tshidi, good morning, man. Flores here from the Western Cape. Let me tell you, I think it should be mandatory for parliamentarians, chairpersons of portfolio committees, to have some sort of a requisite skill. I don't think that a lot of these parliamentarians and chairpersons has the know-how on how to go about these things. And a lot of them are acting on emotions, man. So, yeah, there need to be some form of schooling before you can head these portfolio committees, and also the parliamentarians. There's sometimes just no discipline there. Have a good job, bye-bye.
Thank you so much for that. I want to bring Sister in from Parktown. Sister, you disagree with me on Papa Penny?
Tshidi, what's about King?
Papa Penny.
Because, it's so funny because last night I was trying to watch this, right? And I mean, as a black person, I was trying to even make sense, because sometimes you find that English is not an easy language. It's not an easy language, and you can't articulate yourself, right? However, Tshidi, we cannot really give these people an easy way out. Papa Penny is very good in his language, right? Yes. He's not representing people that speak the language that he speaks. He's representing the whole country. And therefore, it's his responsibility to make sure that when he's going to address anyone, he can at least articulate in the language that we as a country are all going to be accommodated. If it's spoken in his language, I as a black person, I wouldn't have understood his language. Because
but sister, you raise a different topic though. You raise a different topic, because when you say what you're saying, I can accept that he represents all of us, and he must think about that and take that into consideration. Then the argument that will rise from that for me would be, why are you not learning Xitsonga? Why are you also not learning each other's languages? Why do you then sit and just say, oh, I don't understand, full stop? Because part of what's gone wrong in our country is certain groupings' refusal to learn others. You know what I mean? We have more than 11 official languages. I'm trying to learn sign language, for instance, at the moment, because you must also do the homework too. Do you get what I mean? You raised that for me, but I'm taking your point.
Yeah, but Tshidi, what you're missing, I'm not representing the country, right?
Sure.
I am, as you're trying to learn sign language, I'm also doing the same. At least I speak about 6 South African languages, right? But the mere fact that he is representing not me, a Zulu, Tsonga, a Venda, you know what I mean? He has to speak to everyone. When he's representing the nation, then you have to accommodate everyone. And how many schools in this country really teaches the neck? Let's start from there. So
that's part of the problem, sister. You must remember that his language is also an official language. That part is also important. It is also an official language. It is represented. By the fact that it's recognized as an official language, it means that it is a representative of yours as well. But I take your point. I don't necessarily agree with it still. I still don't agree with it.
But get an interpreter to the issue.
And that's what the issue is with Parliament.
That's what he should have done. That's what I'm saying. It's his responsibility.
We've raised that issue. No, that's Parliament's problem.
He
No,
should have
sister.
made made it his responsibility.
Thank you, sister.
Being really nice to him.
No, I'm not. Thank you, sister. Out in Parktown. I'm going to let sister go, but I don't agree with her saying that he must get interpreter. No, that's Parliament's job, not his job to do. Jabun Springs, hi.
Hi, Tshidi. So, look, I fully agree, right, on the Papa Penny positioning, right, to say, look, there should have or ought to have been people around him, right, to say, look, firstly, express yourself, anything you want to articulate, check and challenge, in your native language. What we'll do for the sake of the meeting and the committee engagement, arrange what? An interpreter. But for me, that's not there, right? I was saying to the producer there, I feel like guys were just reacting to symptoms, right? Both the young man from the DA and the Papa Penny, because I feel like for me, at its core, if one looks at Papa Penny and Floyd, right? For me, I feel like Umsholozi fetched those two characters and individuals really to dispel the notion that MK was this tribalist, faction. It was just trying to obviously have a nice mix and try and appeal to the obviously voters in Limpopo, right? But outside of that, for me, I feel like the decision making, is the one that is lacking at its core, because now whatever Msholozi has done is backfiring. Yesterday, for me, whatever the Papa Penny trending situation, it's a missed opportunity, to really check and challenge.
It wasn't
fulfill your role, your job. And on that young man from the DA, again, decision making from the DA. You feel a very novice guy who needs clearly, some background in how really things work. Directors' fees and whatever. Maybe someone needs to get him a director's handbook, whatever. So that he familiarizes himself what to ask, what's appropriate. I looked at him at the Jordan match as well, where he was pushing on Jordan. Jordan was fighting back to say, look, you're just looking at my feet, but I don't travel alone. Why are you not incorporating everything else? Which are valid check and challenge points. But I feel like yet again, we're missing opportunities. We don't have sometimes the caliber of people who really need to, push the guys where they really need to be pushed.
Thank you for that. That's Jabu Alton Springs. The issue around the missed opportunity by the political parties, I think it's a valid one, because when you also appoint these people to be representatives, you must think about what they serve. I actually do have something to tell you guys about the MK party, but I'll tell you. There's a really splinter party that's been formed, but I'll tell you after the headlines about that one.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
It's 9:35. You are through to the Clement Manyathela Show on 702. It is the open line. I said before the news headlines, I've got gossip for you. Abel and I are going back and forth about, is it gossip or is it like source-based information? Make of it what you want. But yesterday we had this great discussion about the MKP and Floyd going to Parliament. Can I tell you from sources, so it's not gossip, it's actually journalism. Ableist journalism. So there is a splinter party already for the MKP. It is 18 months in. It's already got a splinter party, from my understanding, that's been registered. So that tells you what's coming in that space still. But we're not there. What I want to also ask you to think about a little bit is an announcement that we're expecting from the city of Joburg. So Mayor Dada Morero has a media briefing a little bit later on. He's going to unveil his bomb squad. If you were listening to his State of the City address, I think last month, maybe, in May, he spoke about a bomb squad. He'd already appointed Snooki Zikalala of the ANC, a Veterans League president, former journalist, head of the SABC News, as the lead of this particular bomb squad. So they're coming back. The bomb squad's job in this case is what it was in the military sense, where they come in, they find where the bombs are and clear them before they explode. So you're looking at core issues. What are the issues in Joburg that need to be dealt with before they spill over? So I was wondering, what do you think of that? Do you see it succeeding? Do you see it not succeeding? What are the priority areas that you want to see being dealt with by the bomb squad? Does it even matter who he unveils alongside Snooki Zikalala? And what do you want dealt with? Is it land invasions, illegal mining? Is it the potholes? Is it illegal connections, undocumented migrants? Is it like the dirtiness, just the filth that's around us? Is it illegal dumping? What are the issues that you want to see them prioritizing? Do you think it's yet another gimmick? What is your sense of it? And who do you want to see standing there dealing with the priorities? Remember, this also comes after a presidential task force was appointed in March. I'm not too sure what that task force has done. I do know that some of the traffic lights are working that I haven't been seeing, but that can't be it, right? There's got to be more. And I did see pictures of the president, I think, at the Joburg Library. So that would suggest that something is happening. But what are your expectations and what do you want to see happening? Dada Morero announcing the Joburg bomb squad a little bit later on. We are taking your calls. We are still speaking about our members of parliament or whether or not they're fit for purpose and understand what their role is meant to be. 011-883-0702, 072-702-1702. I'm seeing your calls. I'm seeing your WhatsApps. I'm coming to you now. Tabiso in Polokwane, hi. Tabiso, good morning.
We had actually thought, yes, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, go ahead.
And I'm saying that, at some point we thought that the mediocrity is only on plenary, insofar as the behavior of parliamentarians is concerned. I mean, you remember the pay back your money saga and all of that. But unfortunately, now we have realized that it's more than what we see because it has actually went to committees. I mean, if you see behaviors of certain members of parliament, insofar as committees are concerned, you will be worried as to are these people making executives to account or parastatals to account, or they are ridiculing those that are there. I mean, for an example, you can't ask an executive or any person, are you a good leader? Why are you in that particular position? All of that. What does that have to do with what you are doing, which you have been appointed for? I mean, those are some of the things that we probably looked at. And then secondly, you see the questions that they ask, you get worried as South Africans. Are we really represented in that particular regard? I think political parties or chief whips.
Those research teams, those research teams that I helped meant to support them. I also wonder about those teams that support.
Yeah, I don't know. I know, for an example, that some of them don't even listen to these research teams that put papers and say these are the questions that you need to be able to ask. They are there. I mean, for Liam Jacobs, for an example, will have input in his phone so that it takes particular clips.
Liam is there for TikTok. Thank you, Tabiso. Let me give other people a chance. Thank you so much. That's Tabiso out in Limpopo. Kustas, hello.
Yo, Tshidi, hi, Angege. You know, I didn't like what happened to Petty Penny.
No, I hated it, yeah.
Why can't we be proud of our languages, Tshidi? Yeah, there's nothing wrong, Tshidi, to say broccoli is not broccoli. You know, broccoli would be taught by an English teacher at school, but we have no problem calling it broccoli. It's perfect. What I'm suggesting is, Tshidi, that Xitsonga is a great language. I mean, Penny speaks it to the core. Why can't we just speak this language and then be proud of who we really are? I mean, I know everything is Anglicized these days, and there's no way we can speak like an English person coming from England, English. We just can't. That is why I'm proud to see Afrikaners. I'm proud to see Afrikaners speaking English like an Afrikaner will do. It's okay. Speak like a Sotho will do. Speak like a Xhosa person will do. There's no reason to try and make it fancy here and say broccoli. Broccoli will be mentioned by English when I call it broccoli, and you're keeping it moving.
Thank you, Kustas. Kustas is out in Midrand. Kustas is out in Midrand. I am seeing Christopher in Four Ways. Hi.
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Good, Christopher. Go ahead.
Ma'am, this is very disturbing that the research team of Umkhonto weSizwe threw Upapa Penny under the bus. And this is not for the first time. I think maybe it's part of their factions and whatnot. It doesn't make sense that you are writing a question for Upapa Penny in English, and if you remember, in that video, he was reading from an SMS or from a WhatsApp. And it is a very same thing that happened to Josh Shope when he went on stage.
Oh, that speech, the Sona replies, the debate.
And it was very vague. I don't know why are they sabotaging each other.
Hey, now you're raising other issues, yeah.
Sabotage. It looks like a serious sabotage.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Christopher and Fours. Christopher says that what happened to Papa Penny is purely sabotage. I don't know. Malibongo in Midrand.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead, Malibongo.
Yes. Tshidi, I wanted to just support Liam, you know. Liam is very learned. I'm not sure how you came to the conclusion that he doesn't understand board fees. Because what he was trying to do was to expose on behalf of the public that these guys are being paid to come and tell us next time we will bring the information. That's how the issue of them being paid.
That's not how he articulated it, though. He might have been trying to say that, Malibongwe. That's not how he articulated it. And I don't think that people who say Liam is a novice are wrong. You know, the DA has a really good reputation of grooming young people from starting at local government level and raising them. I think Asha Soropan is a good example of what the DA does with young people. So they understand all levels and what they're doing. I don't think the criticism against Liam is wrong. And the criticism that is focused on making sure that he trends, I don't think is false either.
But Liam is the only MP in that committee who comes with the research. For 30 years, ANC MPs would come into these committees and ask sweetheart questions. Liam comes with the research.
It's important to criticize them too.
The conclusion that the man is a novice. He is breaking the record and setting the bar high.
How's he breaking the record?
With actual research.
How's he breaking the record?
Research, and he's coming with research, something that has never happened. For 30 years,
I think you make that. Malibongwe,
done that.
Okay, hold on, Malibongwe.
MPs have never
hold
done
on. That's actually a lie because you can't prove it. I'm not going to sit here and defend any political party because you don't know any better. I accept that there are sweetheart questions, absolutely. But to say 30 years, nobody's brought research. Just Liam is the first one in our entire lives to bring research to a committee. Now I would like, that's a lie. There's no truth in that. But I take what you're saying about him bringing research. I take your point. So thank you for that. That's Malibongwe out in Midrand. That Liam is the only one who's brought research. That's a fallacy, and that's not fair to other MPs who've also served in different capacities as well. Makiwa in Johannesburg, hi.
Hi, morning, how are you?
Very good, Makiwa, go ahead.
Good. Yes, I think, as you said, intelligence is not measured by how articulate you are in the language of English. I think a lot of people missed the point which Papa Penny was putting across.
Yes.
They are trying to make SAFA a better association. It's not all about getting likes on TikTok, asking questions in a way that offends other people and they fail to respond properly. Because the whole idea is to try and build SAFA, make it a better organization. And what Papa Penny said, because people now are laughing at him on how he read his question out, they missed the point that this is all about making South Africa a better country by improving these associations and making them function better. That's my contribution.
Thank you so much. That's Makiwa out in Johannesburg. Sammy in Centurion.
Good morning, Tshidi. Tshidi, hello?
Yes, I'm listening, Sammy.
Yes. I'm saying hands up. People must back off from Papa Penny. Like, the fact that he is not articulating English is actually very funny that people are taking issue with it, because the very same people, the very same African people, these are the very same people who are so comfortable with white people, for example, calling them names like Chepo. You know, Chepo, and instead of calling them Nakedi, then white people will call them Nick. And they're comfortable with it, and then they are taking issue with Papa Penny not being eloquent in English, saying that he must learn English. No, that is. I'm sorry to say, to use this word that's always been used by the likes of EFF. This is slave mentality to the core. I mean, you are comfortable with people calling you Chepo and calling you Nick instead of Nakedi, and then you're taking an issue Papa Penny not being able to express himself properly in English. People need to check themselves out. I mean, this is, I don't know what to call it. I mean, it's just mind-boggling, man. It's scary that African people are still thinking like this. The next thing they're going to be crying things like decolonization.
All right, thank you so much for that, Sammy. That's Sammy out in Centurion. Luntu and Davidson, you agree with Sister about the language issue?
No, I actually do, and primarily because in South Africa we've got 9 provinces, and in these 9 provinces, each province has its own dynamic in terms of the language is concerned. And then you find out that English and to an extent Afrikaans are the only 2 languages that you will find medium of instruction across 9 provinces. So invariably, this makes us an English-speaking country with the 11 officially recognized languages. But I'm sure we don't have schools in South African universities that are giving instructions in Xitsonga, in isiXhosa, in isiZulu. The medium of instruction is English. So English really becomes the language, whether we like it or we don't. So it therefore means that if I'm going to take a position where I'm going to be representing people of this country, invariably, I need to be able to speak in this particular language. So it has nothing to do with my native isiXhosa or my native isiZulu. It has to do with the fact that in the role that I'm in, this becomes a competence as opposed to a preference. So we are confusing these things, that a requisite competence to a person that in terms of the pride and that one would associate with the language. So I would like to also urge you on that side to actually look at this from a competency point of view insofar as doing the particular job as opposed to language they are. However, there is a particular competency that is required if you are going to go into representing all 9 provinces of this country. So I think that is the point of view, that we should look at it as opposed to looking down or looking up at different languages. Just like from a technical point of view, it's important to be able to articulate this point of view.
All right, that's Lunto out in Davidson. Do you agree with that? That it's about competency, that you should be able to look at what language is best to articulate your point that everybody understands. Now, among the issue of translators, which I think, as I said earlier, Parliament has been found wanting in that regard in the past. Here are a couple of your voice notes on the issues we're discussing.
Good morning, Tshidi. As much as Ashley, the parliamentarian, I think the platform might have been wrong, but the question still stands to say, when you talk about patriotism, do we know whether people have got South Africa as a country and its people best interests at heart? When I look, I'm just going to be straight to the point to say, we rank varsities. The varsities from most of the countries in Africa do not appear in the 500, the top 500 or the top 100. But we see excellence in the people who studied there. For me, I just see a contradiction. If you can just tell me where this excellence is coming from, the people who studied there, that we're supposed to say they are here to build our education system in the tertiary, they are appointed, but where they're coming from, their universities are not ranked among the top.
See, while listening to Penny, these are the people who are not going through to the crux of the matter. They are beating around the bushes, whereas the young man is going straight to the point to ask people to account, because that is all about accountability. It's not about how well you can speak English, how well you can make people laugh, how well you can entertain people. So I'd say give Liam his flowers while he still can smell them.
Good morning, Tshidi. I don't think there's anything wrong with what Jacobs is doing. Government has to be transparent, because some of the citizens were not aware of what was happening. Now, of course, in this day and age, everything goes through social media, and that's where people find information. And he has no choice but to inform people through social media. I can't speak for Papa Penny. I don't know why he's there, and he doesn't really serve the purpose. But other MPs that are helping us to know these things is very important.
All right, some of the messages have come through on the WhatsApp line. Morning, Tshidi. I totally blame the MKP for embarrassing Papa Penny. He should have asked questions in his home language. I agree with you, Tshidi. This is Jablisile from Midrand. Another message. I don't think it's about Liam. I don't think Liam doesn't know the dynamics. I think he just wants to make the public aware. Believe me, most of the people do not know that the money's earned by board members for doing nothing. They're paid for just showing faces as if they're celebrities. Check Sita's board members. They're just paid tourists. So there isn't view around Liam. I'm not talking about experience and his own research, but I take the view that he's trying to make people aware of the greater picture. That is also important. Another one coming in about the bomb squad specifically. Bomb squad Haibo. Do we have a bomb problem in Joburg? I can tell you right now, we have a filth problem. Illegal aliens selling on the messed up pavements we have to walk on, so we share the road with cars. Shops are selling fake goods. That's one of the messages. That's what, in this case, that's what the bomb squad is meant to deal with. It's not a literal bomb. It is the issues that could explode, that could go wrong in the city, that the mayor is trying to deal with. And that's what the squad is meant to do, to clear those things that are ticking time bombs. So walking on the roads with cars because the pavements are filthy and filled with people who aren't legally meant to be selling. The filth problem that you raised, the fake goods. In this case, that's what these people are meant to prioritize. Thank you so much for those WhatsApps. Here's some of your voice notes.
Tshidi, with regards to the Johannesburg mayor, I don't think anybody who lives in the city is going to buy anything that the people who work for the city or a provincial government has to say. They've abandoned Johannesburg. It's turning into a slum like Detroit in the 90s in the USA. So I'm going to be very surprised if people call in and say, yes, they're supportive of it. The proof is in the pudding. Can they actually get things done? And then it raises the question, if they can now get things done, why have they allowed it to get to the state over a period of 10, 15 years? So yeah, I'm sorry to be very pessimistic about this, but I live in Johannesburg and I see every day what my city looks like. And it's sad, heartbreaking, horrific.
And his council still at the level of trying to identify what the issues are in Joburg. Gee, you've got to be kidding. June 2025, the mayor of Joburg battling to identify what the issues confronting his city are. We are in big trouble. Thanks, Tshidi, Tabo, Midrand.
All right, thank you so much for that. Lots of people about the bomb squad. I think that's something else about the bomb squad. A lot of people not convinced, but I think that first one where she said driving around the city and being from here, you kind of see. I don't know how many times I complain about the quality of the roads, right? So those are the things that we are hoping that the mayor is speaking about and that we get more. There is a tweet where somebody asked me about, let me just find it quickly, where they were asking about the issue of the roads, right? Saying what happened to the G20 route. We were promised they will be prioritizing because there's nothing working on the road. Some traffic lights are sorted, but potholes and the manner in which they're fixed is uncalled for. They create bumps instead of sealing the roads. Oh my goodness. I could write a book about the potholes that we experience in and around the province. I'm going to complain. Not that I'm going to, I complain all the time about the street lights. If you drive around in the dark, ulififing, absolute darkness on some of our highways, municipal roads, local, it is really bad. I'm pretty sure you'll start seeing action as we get closer to the summit because they've now confirmed that the G20 summit is taking place at Nasrec. I heard it couldn't happen in Sandton. It's taking place at Nasrec. So watch out for activity on those so-called G20 routes. Here's some of your voice notes.
Hi, Tshidi. In South Africa, we are not taking ourselves serious because we're taking people to parliament who doesn't have school, who doesn't have anything. Papa Penny doesn't qualify to be in our parliament. I know people love him as a musician. He should stay there as a musician, not in our parliament. He doesn't qualify to be in our parliament. Thank you. We must take ourselves serious.